Welcome to YWCC Lesson 4. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Embrace the Power of Your Authenticity. The lesson scripture is coming out of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 5 through 7. Our theme this year is Young Women Living the Victorious Life, confirming your calling and election. I began to think about the life of Paul, one of the greatest evangelists in history, and how his road to walking in his calling was not easy. In Acts chapter 9, verses 10 through 16, Jesus tells a reluctant Ananias to go to the newly converted Paul and minister to him. Ananias responds in verse 13, saying he's heard rumors about all of the wicked things Paul has done to the people of God. But Jesus informs Ananias he has chosen Paul to spread the gospel. When we confirm our calling, not everyone from our past will be willing to accept this new version of us. Some people from our past may be hesitant to believe our hearts and lives have been changed. Others may think what we did in the past means we are unworthy to do the work the Lord has called us to do. Those people are wrong. To me, Paul is that witness that you know is from a hard life. It's hard because his weakness gets in the way of him being great. Instead of being ashamed of those weaknesses, he uses them to connect with others. What resonates with people is empathy and transparency. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and transparency means to be authentically yourself. Use wisdom when you are transparent. Yes, we are always honest when sharing our testimonies. However, we must use wisdom to understand what the people will be able to handle without unintentionally causing someone to stumble. We know the thorn is described as a messenger from Satan to torment him and keep him from being proud. Even though Paul doesn't tell us exactly who this messenger is or what this thorn is, we can still relate by putting in, as a substitution, our thorns. Further, the people cannot use his thorn against him because they don't know exactly what it is. Paul wants people to look at his life and hear the words he says as they align with the life he lives. Do the words you say align with the life you live? Can people hear your testimony about your thorn and see the change in your life? Acts chapter 14. Paul is again telling people not to worship him as he is not special. Instead, he admonishes the people to worship God, who is the one who has endowed Paul with the power to do miracles, signs, and wonders. The power of God, or the ability to be used by God, is not because of anything we could ever do. Paul is sharing with the people even they can be used by God no matter what their past may be. No matter what their thorn may be, God can still use them in their weakness. Paul doesn't allow this thorn to immobilize him or keep him from doing the work of the Lord. Instead, he uses the thorn to relate to the humanity of the people. It's like finding out your favorite celebrity sometimes has bad breath. They are human. Just because they have a larger platform to share their opinions doesn't make them any better than you. We all have an audience God has called us to. Think about all of the great women, preachers, and gospel teachers. God has given them a unique audience to speak to and connect with. What Paul is telling us is to be ourselves. As you continue or begin to walk in the calling of your life, remember these 3 things. Number 1, God made you unique, so never be afraid to be you. Embrace the power of your authenticity. Number 2, use wisdom when sharing your testimony with others. Always ask God to word your mouth and give you what to say. Number 3, don't let people use your past against you. When people try to bring up the not so good things you used to do, use it as an example of the grace God extends to all of us. The end. God bless you, and thank you for joining me today.